Okay.
Just to let everybody know, we are running a few minutes late. Had some adjustments to make because we're starting at 9 instead of 10 o'clock this morning. So everybody just stand by. We'll get started here in just a couple of minutes.
Oh, yeah.
I still ain't found it.
What would that be under?
What line?
On down to section 75. Right, go back up 75. All right, go all the way to the top of this section right here. All the way to the top.
All the way to the top. There you
All
go.
right, right there. Compensation and benefits. That's
Okay.
line 460.
Under what, brother?
Line 460 on the general.
Oh, okay.
General Fund 44,212.
No, I'm sorry, I'm not very good at this. Yes, I came right up on Greg, but you're not telling me that.
And what line is that? 460. Wow. I'm gonna have to put my glasses on. Oh.
Now, you need to know, because this is the proposed budget and.
Oh, this is the new, it didn't get loaded. Okay.
You need to load?
Here you
Yeah,
go.
we got a load. We
Here
got
you
a
go.
load.
Hey, Judge,
That's it. Yes, sir.
I punched general, the general fund right here. There's line 460.
Jess, where you loading from?
Compensation and benefits, that's her.
This is 461, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. 460
July
is
17th.
is the section.
2020 revised?
Okay.
See that 075, that's where we put all the
And
contract.
this is the lady with the,
That's her.
so she's still there. She's still in there. They was just a big uproar about something, I don't know what was going on, but.
What's going on is there's been a dozen or so requests about why are we still doing have an employee that's working for the DPS
Right.
and is our employee, and we're not getting a lot of benefit out of it. They're not doing much
Yeah.
right now as far as county tickets and stuff, and we're not getting anything out of that way station down there. But they've been gone a lot.
They've been doing COVID, yeah, and riots and everything else, so we need to leave that alone. Yeah, it's,
Well, that was just, I knew because of conversation that had been coming to me that it was probably gonna come up this morning. And I thought it was better to get it out there. So I went ahead and called her and told her what was going on
Yeah.
yesterday.
yeah,
So that's why all that activity.
yeah,
It's better to go ahead and get it out
yeah.
where it can be discussed.
Loader it.
It's an open meeting, but I kind of do talk to you about something. We get letter about the contingency things and transfer that you got going. I know you've got something. The reason why you did the
Oh, yeah,
contingency
yeah.
transfer
Yeah,
into our town roads.
right.
It's just what I've said all along, that isn't bad.
Oh, I know.
But anyway.
Hey, part of it this year though.
Which one are we looking at where Allison is? DPS, 460.
Go down the line over here, 461. Ooh,
course,
right
that's the
there.
one. Okay,
See, compensation and benefits right there.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. But
I
I missed it.
apologize to y'all. I honestly was thinking this is at 10 o'clock today, and I've been hustling, trying to get some stuff done.
It's quite all right. Even though none of us have ever made mistakes.
Yeah, none of those have ever been made.
Or ill-prepared
We're all just,
or lost.
unless you look at Facebook.
We'll talk to you later.
Forgot we're live streaming. They may be watching. The lives may be watching.
We're just about to get the last bit of the software loaded that we were behind on, so
I need it on your desktop.
We'll be-
Where is your desktop?
we'll be starting here in just a few minutes. Just stick with us. We're almost ready to get started.
Save. Save. Don't do that. I'm messing up.
Because Amy,
Oh, wait,
if I don't do that, my phone will be ringing. Hey, y'all, what's going on? Y'all didn't get started.
Okay, so hopefully it's on your desktop.
Janice, did you color code this one? Did you color code this one?
No, sort of, yes, no. But I did change the format on all of it, because there's things
Oh,
that
thank you.
y'all need to, I broke it out so y'all could get a better seeing of,
Okay, can we get started now?
yes, I'll be up and going in a minute.
All right. Everybody turn their mics on, please. I'm gonna turn two on for you.
There you go. Loud as I am, we don't need but one, probably.
We're gonna go ahead and, if you would, all stand and we call this meeting to order. This is the notice of a special session budget workshop for Angelina County Commissioners Court. It is a little bit after 9, 9:13 on Friday, August the 7th, and we're at the Angelina County Courthouse Annex. We're going to begin with the opening prayer, and Commissioner Pitts has honored us with allowing him to do the opening prayer. Commissioner?
Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you this morning, Lord. We thankful for this day, Lord. We're thankful for this opportunity to meet together and take care of county business, Lord. We just pray for your leadership and your guidance and your wisdom, and we pray that each and every decision that's made here this morning, Lord, will be for the betterment of our constituents in this county as a whole, Lord, but most of all, we pray that it's pleasing to you. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. And if you would, please follow Commissioner Cheshire as we honor the U.S. flag.
Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And follow Commissioner Harrison as we honor the Texas flag.
Go ahead, Carmen.
Oh,
That's okay. Honored to the flag.
Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
thank you.
Good job, buddy.
That was a change.
Yeah, we just, I wanted my buddy to do something in
But we
this.
got it done. Amy, is the recorder on? Okay, good. All right. Now, we are, item number 4, we are in the budget workshop. Gentlemen, make sure that everybody has got their stuff up. And right now, to make sure everybody is on the correct page, where's the best place to check, make sure everybody's got the right one up? Janice?
Well, let me get mine open.
Okay. All right, if you're in the very first page, you'll see assessment at the top. at the bottom, contribution to city and county health district, yours should reflect $900,021.41.
Are we in general fund?
Yes, general fund.
Contributions to city, county, health district.
Uh-huh.
Last number was 853,126.50.
Okay, well, that's different. It should be 900,021.41. I wanna make sure everybody's on the same page.
I'm on the wrong line. Give me that line again.
That's line 36.
36.
Mine showing 900,021.41.
Right, and that's where it's supposed to show.
So do I just go in here and take it out?
No. Don't change it.
Well, evidently I'm on the
Go
wrong
all the way.
tab.
Hang on just a second. Let me get mine still working to get
Yours,
yours open.
that's it right there.
That's right, she said, yeah, where she started.
No, that's not right.
Yeah, Greg says different.
Hang on just a second.
936, 853,
And yours,
126.51.
and yours is different.
Okay, everybody should be on at the tab at the top, just look at the top of the spreadsheet, and it should have proposed budget .43712 August 6th. Well, today's the 7th, but I was working on it yesterday.
43712
If you look at
August
the very
6th.
top in the green line up at the top, it should
Yep.
have proposed budget 437 August 6th. Look at the very top of your spreadsheet.
Yeah,
Proposed budget is .43712,
Slash dot August 6th.
August 6th.
Okay, you're on the right spreadsheet then.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Uh-oh, mine just went completely blank.
August 6th. Greg is on the
You need to go
correct
back
one,
that way.
but it's not reading right for the,
Okay, where is he? What were you reading? What line were you on?
36.
Mine should be right now.
Oh, that's good.
Contribution to
Right
city and county health district.
Yeah, right there.
There.
Since that's a
That's
stable
right.
value, that
Okay,
should.
so what line?
You said
made-
36,
Yeah, no, 36.
Okay, 900,021.41?
correct.
Okay, he was just on the wrong tab.
I got an
Okay.
extra tab here.
All right,
Well, everybody does, they just don't have theirs moved over far enough, I guess.
okay, all right. So we're all on the same one now.
That's line I, or column I.
Yes.
Yep.
Column I reads 903,990.98.
Are you on the 2020 tax rate slash 2021 budget tab, the yellow tab?
The yellow tab, nope.
That very first tab was the no new revenue rate. This is the 2020 tax rate is our
Okay, now I'm
current.
on the right tab, and it
proposed-
reads $900,041.41.
That's
That's
it.
it. That's it.
Hallelujah.
All right, okay.
Hey, you think you've been lost with a tab? I'm trying
Well,
to put
you've
these
done give me
together.
about 70 tabs here to memorize, and, you know, my
All right.
photographic memory.
Now,
Gone.
and we had mentioned earlier, we are working through software issues that came from the state late, and so there has been multiple changes. And although it would seem sometimes that we don't know what we're doing, we're actually changing figures on a regular basis because the figures keep changing to us because of the state software keeps changing. But we think we probably got it right now, and our no new revenue rate and the proposed tax rate and the voter approval rate are all pretty well solid at this time. So right now, our proposed tax rate is the same tax rate as we've had for the last 2 years, and that's what we're looking at, trying to go forward this year with not a new tax rate increase at all, so we can protect our Angelina County citizens and voters. we are now under, since we've got the new rates in, we're now under the voter approval rate. So we're not exceeding that voter approval rate now. So we're in good shape there.
I'm gonna throw you a curve, Judge.
Sure.
I'm not comfortable with raising taxes this year.
Right.
And I know I'm not gonna be real popular right here, but I wanna go back to the no new revenue rate and start right there.
That'll be fine. But you do understand that we're not raising the tax rate.
We're not raising the tax rate, but we'll be raising the taxes,
We're raising the revenue.
which is raising taxes.
Okay.
Is that correct, Janice? If we adopt anything over the no new revenue rate, we'll be raising taxes?
It's raising revenue, which is different than raising the tax rate.
No, Judge, that's not correct.
Well, it's the way I look at it, because the homeowner is gonna be looking at the tax rate. You know, when they get their tax statement, they're looking at, did my taxes go up?
And they're going to, if we
Well-
adopt this.
Not because of the tax rate. You gotta understand that there's two ways that a homeowner's taxes go up. Number one, you change the tax rate, which we have not done this year. Number two is the value of their property has changed. So one of the two things, we have no control over the value of their property. That's done through the Central Appraisal District. So we can't
Which it went up
affect
this
it.
year as well, and that's one problem I have, and they're getting the double whammy. Most of them's appraisal went up, and now we're talking about raising their taxes.
Well, clarify between raising tax rate and raising revenue. If we keep the same tax rate every year, or right now, we're not raising taxes, we're raising tax revenue. The tax revenue has gone up, but the tax rate has not changed.
Where's the revenue gonna come from?
The revenue's gonna come from new property
That's 300,000.
that's growth.
That's
And,
300,000.
and the other of it is, changes, mistakes in last year's appraisal or increase in appraisal values. And we have no control over any of that. Hopefully, we get lots of new property added, new value. But it's important to understand that raising taxes or tax revenue, it's important for everybody to understand that tax revenue is going to go up if you've got a growing county. If you've got a growing county, the tax revenue is going to go up.
And the way I understand it, Judge, if we don't absorb that by lowering the tax rate, then that is a tax increase.
By state definition, it is.
That is, the taxes are changing, the revenue is changing, yes. The revenue is changing, but it is not actually a tax increase as far as the way the homeowners would look at it, because it's not a tax rate increase. And it's important to understand, you can have the same tax rate year after year after year, and you're gonna have some revenue growth. But if you don't let the county have revenue growth, you're never gonna be able to keep supplying the services that the county does. The county will never, ever, ever be able to grow. And as more people move into the county, okay? As more people move into the county, you're going to be looking at that revenue growth is gonna continually go up. If that's going to drive that no new revenue amount tax rate down. Right now, we're sitting at number 13 in our 13 county area. We're sitting at the third from the bottom, the lowest rate.
I understand all that.
In all 13 counties.
And I do believe that we should bump a little bit every year to keep up, and we are the lowest, and I understand all that. But at a time that we're living in right now, when we've got 10 to 11% of Angelina County citizens unemployed, and no telling what percent of them had their wages reduced, I'm just not comfortable raising their taxes this year.
Well,
I mean, I think that all of us, we have, actually, just last Friday, I cut 10% out of my budget, $150,000.
Okay.
And I just think that we can look at this thing and cut.
Oh, I have no,
mean,
I have no
Not only
problem
that, we
with
went from 6.5 to
Yeah.
6% road and bridge, so we've absorbed a pretty good bit of it
Yeah.
ourselves.
And
I have no
I don't
problem
believe
with-
that's right.
Yeah,
I don't believe that road and bridge should be the.
Well, that's what I'm
Institute.
saying, let's look at all this other and see where we can cut to keep from doing
yeah.
that.
I don't have a problem with cutting it more, but it's important that everybody understands that the tax rate is not changing.
That,
I don't understand
can you
why that's
explain it better
confusing.
to him that,
No. I'm gonna explain it like this. The no new revenue tax rate of 0.415302 is gonna bring in taxes assessed value of $18,576,741. Okay? I'm sorry. That's
that's
our
wrong.
rate right now. That's the 0.43712.
Right.
Our no new revenue rate of 0.415302 will bring in $17,649,519. The difference between that rate and the rate we have right now is gonna be $927,222. So you're gonna have to figure out where you're gonna cut
Right.
$927 to go back to the no new revenue rate.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to figure out where you're gonna cut.
300 of that is
General.
New properties added, new property values added, a little over 300. Of the difference of that, 600,000 roughly is what you're talking about cutting.
Well, question. I took $227,000 out of precinct 1 the other day. And did that not help?
That was just balancing your budget based on dropping it down to the point, or to the 6 cents. We dropped it from the 106.5, I believe it was, down to the 6
To-
cents. And
to
so
6
that
cents.
was in order for you to balance your expenditures to your revenue coming in.
At 6 cents.
You dropped it. That's how much you had to drop it in order to balance your budget.
I cut 673,000,
Yeah.
and I want some of it back.
have you looked at, property taxes since May? I think this is, not property tax, sales tax. Since May, have we got an update on how that's
Yeah,
doing
Jill gave us one the other day at court. We're up 15%, in a month.
from what we was from May,
No, from last year.
from last year?
Yes, sir.
Well, you're gonna have to keep
We're,
in
we're,
mind,
at
the
the
sales
airport,
tax
fuel
is gonna
sales, we're up
drop.
17%
Yeah.
compared to last year, month of June. This,
Sales
here's a
tax had a
problem that
little
I got, and is this chicken little sky's falling about this pandemic that's going on. Yeah, it's real, okay, but folks, our economy is moving. And, the housing growth industry in Angelina County is booming. Property value is increasing. People are spending money shopping. They're adjusting to what's going on. I'm not saying that justifies a tax increase by any stretch of the imagination. What I am saying is that does not justify us cutting services. And that's what we're doing, is we're cutting services on a growing county. Now, if y'all wanna live with that, with the constituency, go right ahead, but I can't support it.
Well, this sales tax alone is $500,000, that's proposed.
Proposed is,
And
that's gonna be a little lower.
That's what we're projecting that's coming in right now as we
That's just
speak.
an educated guess.
Right.
I have no clue,
Yeah.
because you heard Eric Carver say it's gonna be 18 months,
Before we-
Yeah, next
before-
year. So next year's when we're probably gonna be really, really
So
struggling.
next year's when it's gonna hit us,
And that's what I've been saying all along. Next year, this year is gonna be what we're looking at now. Next year, with all the indications that we're getting from the state and from the federal people, next year's gonna be worse.
Yeah, that's one of my concerns, next year, we're gonna really sure enough have a shortfall, and we may have to raise taxes again.
Commissioner Cheshire, you
Yes.
made the comment that we're cutting service. With the budget as it is right now, with the proposed budget at the same tax rate as what we had last year, I'm questioning whether or not that's really an accurate statement, because
Well,
I'm trying to
let's
figure
go-
out.
let's
Well,
go.
let me finish.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out where in the world that you're looking at that we're cutting services. Nothing's really been cut in the courthouse. Are you talking about road and bridge?
We're talking about road and bridge.
Okay,
Yeah, we've been cut to the bone again.
well, we've got a $5.8 million tax note that's going to allow a lot of material that's gonna be available to y'all for the next 3 years. And
All right, well,
You know-
let me elaborate on that just a little bit.
Sure.
We're talking about, if you will look under road and bridge funds and just drop down to, line 80,
well, I'm looking right now at line 24,
I'm
25,
sorry,
26,
180,
27.
line 180, on precinct 4 road and bridge fund. I had budgeted, 100,000 for fuel, okay? With the road and bridge, tax note money that we approved and that we got, previous year, we were at $65,000 in fuel consumption. With the new material and extra revenue, it costs money to put that material on the road. All 4 of us guys in here will understand that. With more work comes more equipment to be used. I propose $100,000 being added to that oil, road, and gas budget. Road equipment maintenance, I propose 60,000. We cut that back to 30. Parts and shop, I propose 60,000. I cut that back to 20. It doesn't matter if I got $1 million in the bank, but if I don't have fuel to be able to run my machinery, to lay that material out on the road, it didn't do me any good.
Yeah, you misunderstand. When you say we're cutting services to the public, you're talking about road and bridge. You're not
That
talking
is a
about.
service.
That
It
is
is
a
a
service.
service, granted, but you're talking about road and bridge. We're not cutting any services as far as in the courthouse and the other things that we're required to do. I just wanted to clarify that. All right, so getting back on track, Commissioner Pitts, where are you wanting to get started? Because if we're going to try to get down to what you're talking about doing and getting away from the proposed tax rate that I've proposed with y'all already, then where is there room to cut?
One thing I got a question about is, and Janice can probably answer this, the, insurance, auto insurance. Some of that went up 140 and 50%.
I base that on, well, on what, on yours?
No, through the whole
Cross.
budget.
Well,
the
I
board.
what I did was I took the premium for last year and I talked to Ben Bartlett to see how much I needed to propose, and he said, propose a 10% increase across the board. So that's what I did. I went back and took the premiums last year and marked it at 10%.
Well, some of these are way more than 10%.
Well, if you're looking at it in the general fund, it's because I had flipped some of them around. They were misclassified, so I moved it around, but I don't think so. Well,
Well, I'm
until
looking
you
at
gotta-
each department,
Okay.
each department.
And two,
that has vehicle.
sometimes it depends on what the premium was last year, the equipment changes and all that, I mean, all that too. I mean, some of the departments have added stuff, and so Randy tries to keep up with all that, and so, and there's room for finagling on that.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
don't
some of it
know.
seems
But see,
really-
that's the thing, I don't know, because
It's
the
a
fact, we
balance.
won't know till he comes in with our, what the proposals are gonna be. That's just what he told me to do, is go across 10%,
With the
and,
renewals.
that, of course, he'll be going out for bids and all that, so, I mean, it could come in and it'd only be a 3% increase, but I just did what he told me to do.
Well, I mean,
Which
it's-
one are
it,
you
it adds
looking
up to 50-something thousand
What are you
dollars.
look, which one are you looking at?
Well, just look at, the county jail, and that's not, let's go to one of the bigger ones. And I didn't know how you, like emergency management, you know, I think there's one vehicle there in emergency management. It went from $550 last year to $1,200 this year, 110% increase.
Two things cause an increase, they change the rates or you change the vehicle.
And see that, the
Well,
vehicle didn't change, which we was anticipating, I think.
Well, if you're looking at his expenditures on that line for 2019, it was $954.
And I noticed that across the board too, in 19, they was all a little higher, but.
Yeah.
So,
So, see, that was just trying to get back
let
to
me-
actually what was spent rather than the proposed.
well, I actually took the actual spreadsheet with the actual premiums on it and marked it up.
The data processing went from 500 to 1,200. And the highest one that's listed on here was 800.
There's a vehicle change in data
Yeah,
processing.
they did add a vehicle.
Yeah, and that vehicle change is one of the biggest parts of that.
And that, I mean, that may be,
Yeah. it
that
is.
may be across the board what happened. I was just wondering, because I kept noticing it was
Yeah,
jumping.
it's a good question, but there's usually legit reasons why things like that, do change.
Anyway, I wanted to mention that if there's room there
Terry, you talking about auto insurance?
to, yeah.
Yes, that's like, mine went from, 10,750 to 18,000.
Yeah.
And all I've got is just a year older vehicles, so I don't know.
Two, part of the reason that some of that changed as far as the previous years not being as high was because of the fact that when the bill was being paid, it was being paid based on a year, but yet when we changed and made them all come due in September, then we're prepaying some of it, and the auditors say, no, that is actually 2020 expense, it's not 2021, so we had some adjustments there, and that made it go up some too, because you're actually getting all of the expense in the correct year, rather than it being in the wrong year. That's why, as of right now, if you looked at your expense reports for insurance, it's lower, but it's gonna go up because in September, we'll get a new bill. And then
Yeah.
I'll be adding for October, November, and December to this year.
Carrie, when you get a chance, would you shut that door? Okay, so what else?
Guys, are we actually really okay cutting
Thank you,
road
sir.
and bridge the way we've cut it?
Well, I'm not, but I wanna ask every department to cut somewhere else.
Well, I agree with that too, so let's go that direction. And
Like I said, just
because historically, for the past 5 years, that is exactly what has happened, is road and bridge has been continually cut and cut and cut and cut. And I'm not in favor of it. Now, somebody else is gonna have to give something somewhere and give us back something close to 0.06581.
Janice, how many years have we been on 0.65? Basically, that's been the rate for,
Last 2 years, I think.
It's
Yeah.
been pretty close to the same, but
has it been longer than the last 2 years, the only one that I know of. What, has it been longer than that?
The last 2 years has been that .06581, because that's the same rate we adopted for the
Right.
last 2 years. So.
Sure. So really,
But
that
with no,
has not been.
but with no new revenue.
No, that is, that's not correct. That .065, y'all get whatever the benefit is of the revenue, because you get it off of the top. In other words, there's not any of the expenses come out. Whatever the revenue is, you get the effect of that .065 before anything else is cut. It's like the city and county health district. You get a percentage of the total. And when you're saying that
I
that
understand
it's
what
been
percentage
cut,
we get. It-
I disagree, because .65 has been the same now for 2 years in a row. This year, the only way we could even get to the same tax rate is what we've had for the last 2 years, was to go to 6%.
But the new revenue has gone to other departments, not road and bridge. And that's, not doing the taxpayers of Angelina County justice.
Well, it's like I said, Janice called me last Friday, and I think I cut 10% of my budget, boom, right then. And I would just ask these other department heads to do it. If you took 10% from the sheriff's department, that's about $900,000 just in that one department. He gets about $9 million for the jail and the sheriff's department, so that'd be a good place to start. He gets 40% of our budget. And then, of course, you know, the other departments are all a lot smaller, but and I'd certainly be willing to let him look at it and see if he's, you know, see something that he can cut before we do.
Well, of course, all the departments had that opportunity to begin with. And when I sent the letter out, we requested cuts across the board. And actually, most of our departments were pretty good countywide. We had really good, and then we had about 5 or 6 departments that increased, that wanted raises. And, I think it's just kind of gotten to be the habit of asking for an increase every year, but none of those raises were given, so there has not been any new revenue increases at the county rate. Matter of fact, there has never been in the history of Angelina County budgeting the cuts that we've had this year, just to be able to get to the tax rate that we've had for the last 2 years. We've never cut funding to our nonprofits like we have this year, and we have basically just cut everything to the bone to try to get everything cut down to be able to get to the same tax rate as we had last year.
Yeah, I'm not happy about having to cut that either.
I'm sure not, but it is what it took just to get to the tax rate, and y'all are talking about cutting another 2 cents or so off of the tax rate to get back to the no new revenue rate. Guys, I'm sorry, but that's crazy. We cannot get there from that. What we've had to cut just to get to the proposed tax rate that's in the budget, that working with y'all over all those weeks, and when we put the proposed judge's proposed salary out, it was because of all the conversation that we had had up to that point. Because we've been trying to work together to get this tax rate down, and I don't see it. If y'all have specifics as to exactly what we can cut, bring it forward and let's work on it. Let's talk about it. But I don't see it. I don't see any more. And still be able to supply the services to the county at the courthouse and throughout the rest of the county. in any way that you look at it, Road and Bridge has had a pretty big influx over the next 3 years with this tax note.
Judge, that tax note does not do anything except give us the material to do the job that the people are asking us to do. If we don't have the fuel to put in a machine, we don't have the personnel to operate the machines, if we don't have the funds to maintain those machines, that tax note turns out to be useless.
I understand, but
And that's what's
it's-
happened.
No,
is
it's
we-
not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. You look at your road and bridge fund, that was cut, yes, a half a cent, that was cut. But out of that road and bridge fund, you've got more benefit out of the tax note funds. That should not affect your fuel and everything else that much.
If we don't have fuel to go in a machine to produce the required production, then we could just,
You've got a bunch of material that's coming from the tax note, so you reduce, you look at your budget and you reduce the amount of money that you've got in your standard precinct 4 fund, road and bridge fund, by the amount of material that you don't need to have in that because you're getting it from the tax note. You transfer that to your fuel
I understand that.
expenses. That just doesn't wash. You've got that money coming in that's gonna be material, that is available. Plus the fact that you've also got more money coming in from
Well,
material
okay.
that Commissioner Harrison has arranged with, and that was a good job, by the way. But that extra money, that's also more material that's coming from a TechStop grant.
That's just
It's
the
coming to
two
road and bridge.
precincts.
that just goes to
Sure.
the precincts. I don't have that luxury of precinct 4 having oil and gas production.
I thought you had, I thought
No,
it was
sir,
the
I-
3 precincts, I thought you had.
It's just me and Greg.
Oh, okay, well,
Well,
I do
let
it.
me throw this in there as well. I mean, me and Ms. Cordray have talked extensively, okay, about the very issue of what you're talking about. And she's gave me sound, solid wisdom on her opinion, and we can agree to disagree, that's fine, that's part of what we got going on. But when we made the tax note, we made the stipulation that this money for the tax note goes on certain roads, okay? And she's making the demand that we actually follow that, and we are to a large degree. But if we're at a spot to where we, need to work on another road, and we've got all our machinery right there, let's go ahead and take care of this little stretch of road, well, that doesn't fall under the tax note
But
as
you've got.
presented.
You've got money in your precinct 4 road and bridge.
But you're
X
telling me to
amount of
take
it.
that money out of road and bridge, hard top roads and put it up here in fuel. So if I take it, my 250,000 out of hard top roads and I put it up here in parts and shops, road equipment, gas and oil, then I don't have money to work on this other road up
That's
here.
not what I said, Commissioner. I said take a part of it out that you're talking about. Arrange your budget to make allowances for the tax note material that's coming in. Reduce that amount so you will have more fuel. I mean, every business has a budget that they got to work with. Y'all are getting an influx of money in on materials, so you adjust your budget somewhere else. And I'm still waiting to find out where we're gonna get these huge cuts that y'all are talking about.
We're gonna cut somewhere because it, dropping us back and nobody else taking some, burden, not gonna fly. So I would suggest we go through here and, look at capital outlays that people have. I cut a personnel spot out of road and bridge. I didn't want to, that extra personnel gives me a lot of flexibility. It's taken flexibility out of my department. And at January 1st, I mean, that flexibility and that personnel is being used right now. Okay, and, you know, I understand, I'd love to keep it, but, you know, we're gonna have to do something somewhere else besides Road and Bridge.
Well, then I suggest start looking
We-
and let's make some decisions as to where you want to cut. Let's
Well,
see.
I will say this, we will put out a notice back out to the departments, either they can cut 10% out of their budget or we'll cut it for them. It's just that simple. Now, if they don't want me to do it, they better do it.
I would like to give the department heads the opportunity to have their say in it, for sure.
Okay.
And no, they're not gonna wanna do it. And I understand, I don't wanna do it either. But if they can't, I will. And I think this court will.
All right. You want to put that in the form of a motion?
I make a motion.
And I second it.
All right. And then we will send that out. And when do you want to try to get back together? Do you
We're
want?
gonna, excuse me, Joe, we're gonna vote on that?
Well, we're gonna have to, but
Yeah.
I make a motion that we notify department heads that they can,
Elected officials.
elected officials and department heads, to review their budget, make the necessary cuts. What percentage are we actually asking them to look at?
I don't know what it would take.
Ms. Cordray?
Honestly. We're looking at $500,000.
I'm going,
I mean, you're looking at $1 million between the no new revenue and this one, and then y'all are wanting to go back up with yours to .6, so I have no clue.
well, I cut road and
Because I
bridge.
don't know what that
I'll
one's
cut
gonna-
road and bridge, 10% too. I mean, I'll cut,
what was the difference between the 6.5, Janice, and the 6%? We looked at that the other day. Wasn't it around 475, 500,000?
Judge, I'll have to look, because
No,
I have
we're-
looked
see,
at so
we're taking
many
that loss.
spreadsheets and numbers until I have no clue.
Right.
We're taking that loss as well as what we added last Friday. I think that's correct, isn't it, Janice?
I'm sorry, what?
When you called Friday and I cut 150,000 more out of mine, that was after it went down to 6%, correct?
Yeah, that was when it went
So-
down to 6.
And I mean, I'll make mine work this year. I'll make mine work, but I'm just asking everybody else to do the same thing we're doing.
Okay. Well, we've got a, you wanna stick with the 10%? Or just try to
Ask them to
give
get as close
everybody
to
an
it as they
opportunity
can.
to close as much as they can cut?
10.
Get as close to it.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at,
I understand.
what, so we have a lot of departments that have already made cuts, so are we kind of focusing on
Well, those
the-
cuts need to be considered in what they've already
Right,
cut,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah,
and some of the departments that haven't made the cuts, those are the ones we kind of,
We had
zeroing in on.
we had departments that were asking for raises. And the county has been outstanding across the board, but we had about 5, 6 different departments. It's a big county, but we had people that were asking for raises
Right.
regardless of what we had asked them to do, to cut, so. And those were some of the smaller offices, but anyway,
The,
I'll have you
I
figure,
know.
I'll have you figure here in just a
That's
second
fine.
as to what y'all gave up.
the governor asked across the state, I know this was made real public, which, I'm
The
not.
5%,
I'm not saying I agree or disagree with
Yeah.
him or anything, and do I wanna cut Angelina County 10% across the board? No, I do not. I do not. My problem is Road and Bridge gets what's left over, okay? And that's not equal to the other to the constituency. And-
Okay, the, cutting your rate from .06581 to .06 even, y'all's, total revenue dropped $246,904.
Okay.
Can I have half of that back?
No, because, no, you had, that was across all 4 precincts.
I understand.
Yeah.
We'll divide it back.
So you had probably 75 to 80,000 out of that was actually what you were cut. Okay? Does that
Yes, sir.
make sense? Everybody understand that it's not near as bad from the 6.5 to 6%, it's not near as bad as y'all think.
But then we went back after that and
Well,
cut again.
but you did that, you cut
Yeah.
your own budget,
Yeah.
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 Okay,
I
I
just
can
want
give
that-
you your numbers at .06581, precinct 1, Greg. Your revenue would have been $718,661. Permit, yours would have been $302,845.
Just the difference that they lost is
No, this is what their revenue would have been at the
at
point
6.5, yeah.
Terry's, yours would have been $924,074. And Bobby's, yours would have been $851,168.
Yeah,
So you can take the difference between that and what the .06 is, and that's,
and I've got those right in front of me, so.
Shift gears just a little. We never did vote, don't forget.
No, I
Do we
know
need to go ahead and do that?
Well, we're still working
We
on the
need to make a
percentage.
number for sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're waiting on the percentage. And the governor did publicly come out and ask 5%, but that was,
Here's a caveat. We're gonna cut it this year and then ask for it back next year.
Ideally, but
ideally, if, depending on what we're looking at this next year. Each year is gonna be different. I'm just predicting that next year is gonna be as bad or worse than this year, I think.
Janice, when you come up with the 851, 168, what tab were you on?
that was on one of the other proposed
That was
budgets.
looking,
Okay,
that
okay.
was looking at
So
before it was
we're at
cut.
the, on the no new revenue at, .415, 302. Current revenue under,
If you're looking at your point, I mean, at the yellow tab, 2020 tax rate,
Yes.
2021. Okay, that's your .06.
yes,
The 770 is what you have right now as
okay,
proposed.
and that,
And
and,
the other one was the .068, .06581.
so my revenue would be cut. $80,519.
That sounds about right.
But if you guys wanna
But
go
the-
back to the no new revenue rate, then if you're gonna do it for the county, you need to go back to the no new revenue rate for you guys.
And here's a point to make out about what the governor asked. He asked the state to do this, not local government. He didn't ask county government to cut their revenue. And
Did you understand what the auditor just said?
Yeah.
And that is true. You go back to this tax rate, it's gonna cut y'all even more.
Well, but what they're saying is to go back to the no new revenue rate, but then to keep their current.
And
Is that what I'm understanding, is that you wanna keep your current .06581, but you wanna go back to the no new revenue rate, but see, we calculate a no new revenue rate based on y'all's expenditures and stuff, and so, or based on the revenue, and it would be, according to the new numbers, would be .062872. So, right now, you're at .06.
Which would be an increase for us back from 6 to 6.2.
Yeah, if you went, it'd be a little bit of an increase if you went from the .06 to the .0628. I mean, but you're wanting to go back to the .06581 is what I'm hearing,
I-
so. But
like I
I'm gonna
said, I
tell
can
you
make
guys, you're
mine
gonna
work.
have to tell me what you're gonna do, cause I can't keep creating 20,000 spreadsheets here, because this is getting to be where it's a nightmare. I wanted to bring my little man where I've always listened to sit here, but I forgot him in my
The no new
haste.
revenue rate of .415302, if you're talking about going back to that rate, that's gonna change everything drastically. Everybody is going to lose operating capital.
Which one of these shows all the, funds for every department? Which one of this tab?
On this current spreadsheet?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Y'all's is on, let me get back on
Yeah,
this.
I got,
Okay, you've got the general funds on the, green tab. That's everybody that comes under the general fund, all the different departments. Then y'all's is the blue tab, road and bridge. Then you got your enterprise funds, and that's gonna be the airport and the landfill.
It's all set up right there together.
And you know, some of these budgets y'all have never really looked at, so.
Right.
I mean, so before. So I've got them all broken out here so you can see what comes under each tab. The only thing that I need to point out that is on the juvenile services, whenever I was working on, you know, we had proposed the pay increases, then we ended up taking that away, but then we ended up increasing the insurance rate. So in all their calculations for our share of the juvenile services, I made a mistake on the insurance calculation, and actually, their budget is balanced, but it's the, medical expense is actually short, $6,152. So meaning that we technically need to transfer another $6,000 from the general fund to them to cover that.
Which one was short on juvenile?
Pardon?
Juvenile services.
On juvenile services, it's past the revenue, special revenue funds tab at the,
But you said it was short though, $6,000?
yeah.
All right, have you come up with a figure yet as to what you're wanting to ask in the form of a motion?
No, I'm still adding and subtracting,
All right,
and the more I do, the worse it gets.
While he's doing that, Janet, what is the core patrol fees? What is that?
The Pecori patrol, oh, you're on
Core.
employee benefits?
No, on revenue.
Oh, I'm sorry, where?
It's right on the,
Oh, Corps of Engineers?
Corps of Engineers patrol
Okay,
fees.
That's Lake Patrol. We have a contract with, the Sheriff's Department has a, contract with the Corps of Engineers, and they do
They pay
Lake
the sheriff's
Patrol
office patrol.
during the summertime,
Okay.
and so that's what that revenue is.
And we're expecting that to go down this year?
Yeah, it went down this year.
yeah.
I mean, the contract currently, for the current year, went down. So I don't know what the contract, I mean, they determine how many months So
That they're gonna
this
do.
year it's going down, so I just kept it down. I guess they're trying to cut.
Had a bunch of their parks and everything closed this year,
Oh,
and
yeah.
because of that, the patrol and everything went down. And they also get some revenue from the, you know, dock fees and things like that. And
Right.
so their revenue went way down.
What about the county service officer? Is that something that we have to fund?
No, you're talking about the veteran
V-
service
yeah.
officer.
That's 11,000 and something.
It's 10,000 plus the, I don't know, what's the other thousand?
11,782.
Yeah, the salary was 10,000 and then 1,000 for something else, and I don't know, maybe that was office
Well,
expenses.
that's his. the
Is that something we can
taxes.
We don't have one.
That's what I'm saying, we ain't had one for years, so.
We don't have one.
Yeah.
I've been filling in that position and answering all those phone calls. We still have a veteran service officer phone number, and all that rings directly into my office, and I've been handling all those calls that come in. And when veterans call, I direct them to the correct source to get them help for whatever their needs are, whatever their questions are. So,
I was thinking since we got a VA clinic here and that,
they handle a lot of that, but we still get the veteran service officers. I know Nacogdoches, Hemp Hills, Sabine County, Shelby County, all of them still have veteran service officers. And I'm thinking that one of these days we may end up having another one, so I didn't really want to take it out. And it is a very small amount, so it doesn't affect it that much. But right now, that money is never leaving. It's not being used. You're correct. So it's staying basically reused each year in the general fund.
Janice, you mind calculating something quickly for me? In precinct 4, at current 2020 budget, I'm looking at the tax rate for precinct 4 is 0.01996, and that generates 807,000.
Where are you at?
I am on no new revenue, 0.415,
Okay.
302.
Oh, you're on that one. Yeah. Well, what you asked was what is it this year?
It currently is 01996.
No, that's not correct.
Well, then somebody put the numbers in
Well,
wrong. 'cause
No,
that's
No,
what I'm
you're,
looking at.
you're on a different tab. You're on the no new revenue
That's
tab.
what I
No
said,
new
I'm
re-
on no new revenue.
Well, that no new revenue rate was, that's what I was doing a while ago. I copied it because I was afraid y'all were gonna come back and ask questions, so what I was doing was copying. But that rate has changed. It's now 0.062872, so I didn't have a chance to update that spreadsheet.
Oh,
So I mean, it's microscopic. I mean, it's.
gotcha.
But weren't you asking what it is under the proposed budget right now?
Well, that's gonna be,
Isn't that
yeah, that's gonna be 0.01813 for
Correct.
precinct 4.
770,000?
Yep,
Yeah, okay.
and that's cutting precinct 4 $80,519.
So
Which is
with
about
that in
10
mind,
about 10%.
with that in mind, the 80,000 that's cut to go to 6%, how much material are you getting out of the tax note for that, for next year? How much of that?
500 and something thousand, I think.
Yeah, so you're actually having a $430,000 advantage because you only cut 80,000 out of it to get down to the 6.5, and you're getting that material made up of a additional 430,000. See, that's the point, that you're getting that material built up, you're not actually getting cut that much.
No, Judge,
Simple math,
Yeah,
dollars and cents.
no,
It is.
no. You're taking away from the taxpayers by doing what you're doing. But that money is already allocated. Just because we got an influx of revenue, doesn't mean you get to go in and take away
I'm
something.
not doing it. This was a proposed budget.
Yeah, I know. And
Guys, I'm still waiting on a percentage, or this motion's gonna die on the floor.
mine is about 10%.
All right, and we still have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor to ask the department heads to go back and try to cut their budget as much as possible and get the figures to it as quickly as possible, and try to get it coordinated with Janice on each one of these things to where we can, because we need to move on this. We need to go ahead. We can't afford to wait any longer. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion does pass.
You instruct IT to send out a notification.
If we could get an adjustment, what I'm concerned about is the very next opportunity that we can have to set another budget meeting would be toward the end of next week in order to give us time to post.
I posted today.
Or,
Well, that may rush people, but.
well, that was the other thing, we could come back and meet this afternoon, we could meet again this afternoon, we could postpone, we could recess until about, say, 2:30 or 3 o'clock this afternoon, and get back and see how much cuts we could get. We could possibly get that done today. But-
Do we agree
I don't think
that,
we're not gonna have no more information at 2:30 than we do now, I don't
Okay.
think.
Well, let me just bring up a little deal here. The other day on Friday, I was called and said, we need to cut these budgets so we can get this done. It was done in about 30 minutes. So, I mean, we went on in, got our business took care of, and, so surely if they care about Angelina County, they can take care of it too in 30 minutes. So, I mean, all we gotta do is get somebody to call and say, hey, what can you do to help us get this down?
Trust me, this is live streamed, this is gonna be all over the
Oh,
county.
yeah.
Yeah, the county, everybody is gonna be aware of what the request that's coming out of the court.
gentlemen, I want to clarify something with the court. Our tax note that we use for road material is a supplement, not a replacement.
I mean, the problem with the tax note, and of course, we keep hearing it, that's fine, but what if we hadn't got the tax note?
Well,
I mean, we'd still be sitting
if you
here.
hadn't done it, then we would still be in the same shape, but the
Right.
fact is that it was done, that money is coming in, it is there. And, you know, that's why I'm disagreeing with Commissioner Cheshire as far as it being cut. Your funds are far greater this year, even at the 6%, because of the addition of the tax note. I mean, any way you cut it, you're looking at an additional $400,000 in that budget.
Again, that's not a replacement for our budget, that's a supplement to our budget. Okay, that's the same thing as getting a grant or a.
No, it's not.
It's a loan, yes it is.
No, it's not. It is a
Judge, you-
loan. A tax note is a loan and the taxpayers are paying for it.
That's
It
right.
is not the same as a grant that is coming in replacement from the state.
It supplements a budget, is what it does. And yes, the taxpayers are responsible for it.
It's still being paid
It
by
is.
taxpayers.
Right. But it is not to replace our budget, and that's what it's being used as a budget replacement.
All right. So we have this request that's going out to the department heads. we're not getting anywhere with this. Do you want to recess until this afternoon, or do you want to adjourn and give the department heads a time? If we recess to this afternoon and give the department heads an opportunity to cut their budget, then we can look at this later this afternoon and possibly get this thing settled. Otherwise, we're gonna be looking at least Thursday or Friday of next week. And I would propose if we wait until next week to do it like on a Thursday afternoon, where we could spill over to Friday like what you were requesting the last time.
I
You know.
don't think Janice can, I don't think it's gonna happen that quick, by
Well-
this evening.
That's
I
fine.
mean, cause even if everybody responded excellent, she's still gonna
I
have to.
gotta put it in.
All right.
this-
Yeah,
I
put it
gotta
in
the
there.
spreadsheet.
Then let's put in our notes then that we're looking at, another, budget workshop Thursday afternoon at 1:30?
30's fine with me.
Thursday afternoon at 1:30, and give everybody an opportunity to cut their budget some more.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say this, just like I said a while ago, I'm not gonna be very popular, but I just wanna remind all of the department heads and elected officials that we have not missed a paycheck. We've been very fortunate and blessed, and we've sat here and we had missed a paycheck, and the people that's paying these bills, a lot of them have. And that's just where I'm coming from on this. I mean, I think we need to tighten up our belts and do what we can.
Well, I'm in total agreement with you, Mr. Pitts,
All right,
so I'm just letting you know.
so, we have it in the notes to meet next Thursday at 1:30.
Any reason why we can't meet Monday or Tuesday?
Yeah, we
72
have to
hours.
post it.
I understand.
If you posted it today, would that
Posted
give you enough
today.
time?
That's plenty of time.
What day, I mean,
No.
talking about,
Monday or Tuesday, either one. Well, we can't do it Tuesday, we
Can't
got
do it
court,
Tuesday.
That's right.
but we can do it Tuesday afternoon, like we done.
Oh, I'm sorry, I've got a class Thursday afternoon.
we can
Tuesday
do it
might work
Tuesday,
better for
I
you.
mean,
No,
Tuesday
no, I've got a
afternoon.
class
Court
Tuesday
Tuesday.
afternoon and Thursday afternoon. It'd be Wednesday.
Let's do it Wednesday.
Let's do it Wednesday. Wednesday at 1:30. All right. Then I would entertain a motion at this time, since we're not getting anywhere, to adjourn until next Wednesday at 1:30.
Before we adjourn, I'd like to address the DPS secretary. There's a lot of rumors going around that we've cut that. To my knowledge, we hadn't
Have
cut
not.
it.
No, have not cut it.
Okay.
Do we
Oh, there is.
foresee
As
any
of now-
problem with that job?
No, that job is a absolute necessity.
Yeah.
With that way station down there, she handles all those fines and fees that come down there. She handles everything, through the DPS
Yeah.
office for us.
Which is income for us.
It's
correct?
income.
Yeah,
It's-
the thing about it, I mean, and I understand that it's been slow, but the problem is these DPS officers has been COVID, riots and everything else in these big cities, so. No, I wouldn't entertain the,
I think that needs to be left.
I
alone.
think it just needs to be left alone and it'll pick back up.
Okay, I just wanted to address that before we.
Sure. All right.
I mean, do we need a motion just to,
To adjourn.
no, do we need a motion to just leave that job there
No,
like it is?
the
No.
discussion, it's there.
Okay,
It's-
okay, I was just
nothing's
making
happened
sure.
to it.
Okay. Sounds good. I have a motion to adjourn.
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Amy, it looks like 10:20. Okay, all right.
And what do we decide? Wednesday at